Good day. You probably hear the kids in the background playing. I feel a little under the weather. I have a cold, but this morning I'm up and I'm making Dutch baby pancakes, and I might make some soap today, and I'm probably going to be making some English muffins today with the sourdough starter. And I have some exciting news. So, I'll just say it. Recently, we found out that we're expecting another child. And this is, every single child has been very exciting. This was a huge, unexpected surprise because my husband and I have been married for 19 years this month. We have never used any form of birth control, and we have never been able to conceive naturally. And every child has been conceived through IVF, and it's just funny, your life has a way of just kind of taking its own turn, and it's God really who, you think that you have your mind made up. You think that, at least I thought I want all my babies by the time I'm 28, all my children, that's it. Well, now I'm 38, and I don't feel old. Well, sometimes I do, but I don't feel old, but evidently it's called a geriatric pregnancy because it is later and it's less likely to conceive. Most women are less likely to conceive, but your chances go way down. And so, what a surprise this was that after 19 years, 19 years is September 24th, and we're into September now. So, after 19 years, it's our first pregnancy. Now, this is really funny because my son just had his 5th birthday, and I was getting a little sentimental. And I even stated to my kids, oh, my babies are all grown up. And my daughters, who are 9-year-old twins, they said, well, Jonah's been, he's not been a baby for a long time. And while it is true, just the reality hits in, I think, once he's 5, now he's at schooling age. So I'm homeschooling, and I had held on to the stroller for a while and a few other things, and we just we moved from Oregon to Tennessee. Then Tennessee, we had these Dollywood passes, so I kind of kept that stroller just to even wheel things around that we didn't want to hold on to, or even go put in a locker because I just wanted it next to us, so it made it really easy. But then Jonah would get in there from time to time, and we haven't used it in a couple years, but I've just held on to it. And so finally, it was probably 3 weeks ago, and I thought, okay, I just need to part with this thing. It's just taking up space. It moved with us now to North Carolina, and so I gave it to our church family just to keep there, just in case anybody needed to use it. But what I didn't know when I was giving it away is that I was pregnant. But that's how far from my mind it was, like never in our wildest dreams would have this happened. We've just always been told it can't happen. So here we are now. Like you can feel, if you're a woman, like you can feel the storm brewing, right? So I put the pads on to catch the rain, just in case, and nothing, and so came back off. But I remember thinking, that's weird. It should be happening by now. And I went back and I kind of looked, and I remember certain dates because I remember the day when I was setting up my soap in this shop. And then I thought, well, even if I put this later than normal, I'm still 3 days past the latest day that I usually have in my cycle. So I thought, well, maybe I got the days wrong. Maybe I, sometimes, like a couple times in my life, I've gone past. But then when 3 more days went, and a couple more. I was like, well, now I'm 8 days past the latest day, because usually my cycle is 28 to 32 days. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm just way off. I don't know. But I was very tired. I was very cold, which is different. Evidently, most women will get warm. And honestly, I can't remember like my body temperature, like how I felt in the last pregnancies. But I do tend to get cold, and so I ended up sneaking a test in. It was the cheapest one I could find at Walmart when my kids were with me. And when I got home, well, it was the next morning, probably 4 in the morning, and I took it, and right away that line showed up. So mind blown, right? Because, you know, I just thought, well, maybe it's early menopause or something, I don't know. And anyways, yeah, my mind was blown, and I didn't cry or anything. I just laughed. I just kind of like cracked up laughing, because I mean, you know, and of course, you know, I first go to God, but I'm not laughing at God by any means. You know, we know what happens in the Bible when people are laughing at God, but I'm laughing thinking, I mean, yeah, it's amazing. It's just funny how my whole life, you know, I tried, and, you know, we spent like thousands and thousands of dollars on IVF, saved up, and, you know, we're blessed greatly with the 3 we have, and so I don't have that void like I did at one point. And so I've totally been satisfied, you know. Of course, like within our church, our group of believers, we see these little babies, you know, and it's like, oh, how sweet, their little fingers, little toes, but, you know, and I think, well, I'll never, you know, have that. And sometimes there's waves, you know, that go through, like I'll never have that again, but I'm thankful for the 3 I have. And so my phone just shut off, so I'll try to remember where I was. Seeing the little babies, you know, sometimes it makes you think, oh, it would be nice to have a little baby. And then I think real quickly, like, oh, my kids, you know, this is, like, I even did tear up a little bit ago when it was my son's 5th birthday. I already said that, you know, I was like, you know, he's not a baby anymore, you're not babies anymore. But then just as fast as that happens, there's a part of me that's like, I'm kind of relieved, because he's learning to wipe his bum, you know, I have to go back over it a little bit, but for the most part, he's good. He's good at, he's getting better at brushing his teeth. I have to go back over it, but he's well on his way to becoming his own. And so actually part of me ends up being a little bit relieved, because I think, cool, I can kind of relax a little bit now, you know, like that stage is done. I'm 38, you know, getting close to 40, and I can relax a little bit now and just enjoy them as they grow up. And so yeah, kind of as fast as I think, I've been more excited to watch them grow. And so this was a shock. It was like, whoa, they're starting all over, have to go, you know, pick out another crib, or I might just do the pack and play, honestly, because it has the bassinet up there plus a changing table. And anyways, I am not into the whole, I have to have this and that and this and that. Babies are so simple. I mean, you see in other countries where they have slim to nothing, I mean, they do just fine, you know, as long as they have love, warmth, shelter, food, your baby's going to be fine. And I really do not want to be I want to be a good steward of our money, and to be able to just kind of remain minimal throughout this, because even those things, you know, you'll have to get rid of it pretty soon down the road. And so I'll have to figure out what the necessities are, what we want, and anyways, yeah, it's really surprising and shocking. Like, we just didn't expect it, because we've always been told that it just wouldn't happen, you know, like we've been, anyways, yeah, we've seen doctors and doctors and doctors, and last pregnancies, the only way I could get pregnant was going through IVF, giving myself shots in the stomach, you know, multiple times a day, and it was a very controlled thing. So yeah, this is different. I think that I'm just under 2 months. I am 7 weeks, and yeah, probably about 7.5 weeks, and if I'm doing the math right. And so we are excited. My kids are excited. I'm just a little shocked, trying to soak it all in. And my last couple of pregnancies, I've had 2 pregnancies with 3 children, because the first 2 are twins. They have been beautiful, wonderful, easy breezy pregnancies, but my deliveries, my childbirth has not been easy breezy. They've been pretty scary. I suffered with severe preeclampsia the first time. I had to be rushed in for an emergency C-section. And then my platelets were so low that they couldn't take the epidural needle out for a couple days after I gave birth, because they were afraid I was going to hemorrhage. And they were afraid I was going to seizure and have a stroke. And so I had all sorts of medication. And anyways, then I was just totally out of it. It was not a great experience. And then with my son, I also had to have, well, they thought it was going to be an emergency C-section. Then they left the choice up to me, but they did tell me, because I did want to try for a VBAC, I wanted to do all of them naturally. And, you know, both my daughters were head down for the twin pregnancy, but for the twin, you know, when I went in and they induced me, and it just didn't work out. My body didn't dilate like it should have. Same thing with my son. After 24 hours, my body didn't dilate. They induced me. The Pitocin put him into so much stress. He kept falling off the monitor, and it was stressing him out inside. They could tell because he kept falling off the monitor, and so they did advise me to do a C-section, and I definitely took them up on that, because I've heard that, you know, there have been very sad circumstances where people have ended up with stillborns after trying, and then the chance of uterine rupture also, which the doctor thought he was only 7 pounds. He ended up being 9.5, and with a VBAC, you do want more towards 7 pounds, because with bigger babies, I think I don't know for sure, like, I'm not a doctor, but I think that from what I've seen, that it could be more of a chance of uterine rupture. So I've had 2 C-sections, and I was thinking about a VBAC after 2 C-sections, but I don't know, because everything I'm seeing, and with my history of big babies, even my twins, who were delivered a couple weeks early, 2 days later than most twins, they had to finally, they had to induce me, but it was 38 weeks and 2 days, and usually they try it for 38. So I went 2 days past, and they were trying to induce me, and nothing worked. So anyways, they were 6 pounds 3 ounces and 6 pounds 6 ounces. So big babies for twins, very healthy babies. But if I wouldn't have gotten those C-sections, I don't know what would have happened, because the situation was not good. But even when they had, this might be TMI, but cut into me, they expected a pretty fast C-section with my son, and it took way longer than expected. There was a ton of scar tissue, she said, and she was like grunting. It was just not a great experience. So this time, I'm probably just going to have a 3rd C-section, just to have it scheduled, so it's just more peaceful, because the first 2 times I had wanted to do it naturally, and it just ended up being chaotic. So if I just have it planned, then it will just be more peaceful for me. and they can go in there in a timely manner and not put the baby in distress. All the babies have been in distress with my last birth, so but thankfully nobody ended up in the NICU. Everybody was fine and healthy. Jonah, my son, had jaundice, and I had really low iron with the last pregnancy, and they found that out after I delivered him, how severely low it was, but it kind of makes sense now because I was like craving dirt, like earthy stuff. I never thought I would, and it was from early on until I delivered him, and then it was fine, but I just wanted to eat like dirt. And so what I did to kind of like fix that craving was I got grape nut cereal, that little pebbly, really crunchy, hard cereal, and I took bentonite clay and sprinkled it over and put a little bit of water and made it into this muddy, like almost gravelly mixture, and I just chowed that stuff, and just the crunch and the earthiness of it. Then I go out to the garden and get radishes that had dirt on them still, just brush it off barely and eat it like that. Baked potatoes that had that earthy taste. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. So far, at 7.5 weeks, I am not craving anything. I'm just extremely tired. I'm pretty tired. Things that I did when we first moved here, like I was very active, being able to make like all sorts of foods all day, and just do a lot, you know, and I have a lot on my plate now too. I have like these lists I make myself, and it's just exhausting even to think about it. So that should pass, and yeah, I just need to eat healthy so that my platelet levels are not too low also, because they say that they were not sure if they could even give me an epidural because my platelet levels were so low with Jonah, and so we had gotten that back on track, and yeah, I just need to make sure I'm keeping up on my healthy foods, which I pretty much do a lot, so I'm always making sure the kids and I are having super healthy food. So yeah, today I did some research and found out, you know, the food's richest in zinc and iron and copper even, because you need to have like copper with zinc for it to go to work to its best advantage, and folate and vitamin C and B12 is very, very important for pregnancy also. And so I researched all those foods. I'm probably going to get some vitamins also to go with it. I do have a lot of vitamins already, but I do not have, we ran out of zinc, and I don't like the hard pills. I like the soft, you know, powdery or gel or something like that. I don't know if they have gel in zinc, but they do have powder. So, and I've never had copper, but I do know that you're supposed to take it with it to get the best, to get the best, yeah, outcome for both of them. So anyways, that is what we're up to now. And surprise, surprise, right? When you least expect it, for real. Like, I've heard stories about how people will go through IVF and then a year later they'll get pregnant. And in our case, it's like, yeah, it took nine years to have children, and then now 19, and then so we've had 3 since, and then 19 years, after 19 years of marriage, we get pregnant with our first. So God's timing, right? We try to make our plans, and it's like, nope. So it's pretty exciting, and today I'm working on scheduling my first appointment, and yep, I'm going to be posting some updates on here. So now I need to get started on making homemade granola for Greek yogurt and frozen fruit that my kids love so much, and Dutch baby pancakes, and then I'm going to be making a really good sourdough English muffin recipe. So that's what I'm doing today. I do kind of want to make some soap, but I don't know if I'll have time. So, and then I do have to wear one of those gas masks with it because you're really not supposed to breathe in that way. So I don't know if I'll have time for that. Don't know if I want to do that because I am kind of suffering with a mild cold right now. Feels like it's getting worse, and I've been sneezing quite a bit. I'm surprised I haven't yet, but that wouldn't be good if I was at a point in soap making where I sneeze in the mask and I can't take it off. So anyways, until next time, and I hope y'all are doing well. Take care.